Well, the impact COVID-19 is having on global supply chains and on global trade, and the immense economic pressure this is placing on Africa, not least in the availability of medical equipment, but also food and other goods, signals the importance of industrializing the continent. Trade unions in Africa, in collaboration with African governments, have been asked to intensify the campaigns for sustainable industrial policies for the continent to mitigate the negative impact of COVID-19 on jobs and investment. This call was made by the Vice President, Industrial Global Union, Mr. Issa Aremu, and he joins us now on the show. Good morning, Mr. Aremu. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Chimize.
Well, Nigeria and indeed Africa have always talked about industrialization. Let me start by asking you where we are in terms of industrialization. Where does Nigeria rank amongst industrialized countries in Africa?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I think it is clear that in terms of manufacturing value added, Nigeria has sharply declined in recent times. Manufacturing value added in Nigeria is just about 4%, compared to South Africa, about 25%. Even smaller countries like Mauritius, the value addition in terms of industrialization, far more higher, around about 22%. And that's quite a very significant drop because in the 70s, in the 80s, if we have to be historical, Nigeria used to be, a promising industrializing country in the continent. I was also looking at the numbers. Even the value addition in Ghana has somewhat surpassed Nigeria, close to about 5 to 6%. The challenge we have now is that with the impact of COVID, with the lockdown, some of the factories that have been producing, before the Bureau of Statistics have given us enough statistics to show that capacity utilization has been very low, especially Q4, the last quarter of 2019. On the average capacity utilization was about 45 to 50%. Now with the lockdown imposed by the challenge of managing COVID-19, I think there has been a remarkable setback in terms of industrialization in Nigeria in particular. But we're not here to just be doing analysis. I think the bottom line is that how do we reindustrialize the country? And in fact, reindustrialize the continent, because that's the way to go. Chimeze, you agree with me that where the entire supply chains have collapsed now worldwide. There have been massive disruptions. China used to be the industrial power of the house, in which anything you want to import, you get it from China. They manufacture goods, whether it's electronics, of course, Japan in terms of automobiles, and to some extent South Africa. Now there has been disruption in that supply chain. I think it is now time for us to look inward. In Nigeria in particular, we must learn to produce what we consume. And I'm happy that well before the COVID-19, there has been some remarkable new thinking, to bring about sustainable industrial policies. There have been strategic intervention in some separate sectors, like textile. We used to have cotton and textile garment policy, which has been put in place by President Muhammadu Buhari. Rather than exporting cotton, we need to gin them, weave them, and possibly revive the existing textile factories. There has been an initiative on automobile, or there used to be automotive policy. You know that in the 70s, 80s, we had remarkable automobile companies in this country. We had Peugeot in Kaduna, we have Anamco in Anambra State, we had Volkswagen. All of them closed down, but there has been the initiative to bring them about. So I want to say now that I think we should move on to make sure that manufacturing value added, goes up. And the only way to do so is to revive the existing industry that were closed down. And in fact, in the 80s, we were ahead of most countries in Africa, almost 25% manufacturing value added we have in this country. So we've done it before, and I think it can be done. I think what we need to now discuss about how do we get it done. First, we need the policy, and I've told you there are sectoral policy with respect to textile, there is respect to automobile, and then with the COVID dynamics now, everybody now knows that even the health products, what do they call it, the personal protective equipment, we need to produce them at home. There has been new initiative by CBN of Nigeria to, stimulus to ensure pharmaceutical industries come back on stream. We should be able to produce sanitizer, produce face masks. In any case, you can't even get them imported now because most countries also need them. So this is the time to look inward. Now, how do we get it done? I think we need a policy. Then secondly, you can't drive industrialization, Timothy, without electrification. I think we must address the issue of uninterrupted power supply. That's energy was very critical in the shutdown that we have in manufacturing activities in this country. You need to buy generators for you to file your, to run your industries. The kind of money that people tie down in buying generators is not to set up new factories. So when I heard from your new segment that the president will be having a remarkable launch of this gas pipeline, this is also part of the energy. I think today that's also remarkable because to have that pool of gas pipeline that will be able to supply gas to most of our industries in the northern part of the country is already being done to the south.
Mr. Remu,
it will go a long way to reduce cost of production and re-engineer industrialization.
Mr. Remu, yes, if I would come in there. Yeah, you talked about the fact that, the government, of course, is putting up some policies that, of course, they need to now work on to ensure that we achieve this industrialization. But we know that the major challenge we have here in Nigeria is about policy inconsistency. I remember under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, we used to have what they called the Industrial Revolution plan. Where is that plan now? How serious is the government towards industrializing the nation? Is it that the plan was thrown away and then something else came up?
Well, I think the United Nations Industrial Organization, which is UNIDO, is the agency that is of United Nations that is supposed to promote industrialization worldwide. The UNIDO office has been doing very remarkable job in Nigeria. And I think UNIDO has emphasized that point you raised, that we have serious problem of policy inconsistency, not only that, policy non-implementation. You mentioned the National Industrialization Plan, a very robust plan, which in fact about 10 sectors were identified, for us to engage in value addition, automobile, textile, food and beverages, pharmaceuticals, well before the COVID, but this policy has been gathering dust. Don't also forget that this current administration came out with the Economic Recovery Growth Plan. I think that plan also consolidated on the previous plan that had been in place. In fact, the one I can remember, the EPG, the Economic Recovery Growth Plan, which is now already moribund because a new one is being put in place, emphasized that by 2018, we should be able to build self-reliance in terms of a refinery in this country for crude oil. Our refineries are supposed to come on board. Don't forget that up to now, we're still importing wholesale petroleum products. We export crude oil, and then only for us to be importing the finished products. Our refineries are not working the way they should work. So I agree with you that we need to match policy formulation with policy implementation. Not only that, it has to be seen to be really consistent, and I think it's time for us to get cracking. But the one I can talk on very well is the one that I have been participating with, which is the cotton and textile garment policy. Now it's been consolidated. And I think we've moved on to the implementation because Central Bank of Nigeria through intervention has made sure that we empower the cotton farmers so that we can be able to grow cotton. And today we have moved from cotton shortages to now surplus. Don't forget that you need raw materials to drive a manufacturing textile industry. Now the challenge is to the entire value chain of weaving, spinning, and again, CBN has been trying as much as possible to bring all the stakeholders together. Then you need to make sure you protect your market. There is a problem of smuggling in this country. It's a serious one. I mean, you put the policy in place, factories also produce, but they discover that the market share is dominated by smuggled goods. And the problem with smuggled goods is that they don't pay duties to government. They can undersell locally produced products. So we also need to have consistent policy to tame smuggling into the country. Then, of course, there is a problem of standard. Don't also forget that consumers also need to make sure they get quality products. So Nigeria Standard Organization have to be in place. So it's an entire combination of both the fiscal policies as well as monetary policies to really make sure that we revive manufacturing as the way to go. Because we don't have any choice now. First, foreign exchange has collapsed. I mean, you know very well the review of the budget now. We don't even have enough foreign exchange. Our crude oil, because of the COVID, nobody wants to buy. So even the foreign exchange for us to import will not be there. So this way, I'm quite happy that the Central Bank of Nigeria, even well before the COVID, came out with that basket of products, I think 41 items, if I can recollect, in which Central Bank is saying that these are the products that we can produce locally. We need to import substitute, produce them locally. And the CBN will not make official scarce foreign exchange available for whoever to import this, where we can produce them locally. I think this is what I expect.
Okay, Mr. Remu.
On the part of trade and investment.
Yeah, Mr. Remu. Mr. Remu, what's your assessment of skills availability to support industrialization?
Assessment of what?
Skills availability, skills to support industrialization.
Oh. Yeah, that's why it's for us to really reindustrialize, because we industrialized before. I think we need all the agencies to work together. First, the monetary policy, it has to be clear that those who are producing should be able to have stability, stable foreign exchange rate, so that if they want to procure some machinery, they need to get the resources. Then secondly, of course, interest rate has to be attractive. And that's I'm happy that the last MPC meeting, CBN is also thinking of reduction of interest rate. That's the way to go, because the cost of funding is very high. But after doing this, you need the human resources to drive the industry, as you said. That's why Ministry of Labour has to come in. We need to retool, we need to reskill, and the Industrial Training Fund has to be seen to return back to duty. It used to be a big fund in the 70s, 80s when Nigeria was industrializing. Industrial Training Fund used to make resources available to industries so that they can train their workers to retool them. As we are talking about, even automobile factories can come back unless you train new set of workers who have the skills to cope. Because the world has also moved from the first industrial revolution down to fourth industrial one, which is digital. So we need new skills, new hands, and this is why we need to do proper training of our workforce. But I want to say that the only way to have sustainable jobs is through industrialization. Our federal government has just announced the new policy of public works, 1,000 jobs in 774 local governments for 3 months to do public work. That is good to address unemployment crisis, but
but how sustainable is that? Is that sustainable?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not sustainable. That first there is already decline in budget. In our budget, you are getting budget cuts. How do you are going to sustain to pay people? And if you pay them for 3 months, what happens after that? I think the key to sustainable job is to get the industries back to work. There used to be in Nigeria in which manufacturers used to call on trade unions to bring more workers to come and work.
Mr. Remu, we really don't have much time here, but just before I let you go, are there countries, let's talk about African countries, other African countries we can actually learn from, Nigeria can actually learn from when we talk about industrialization? Well, South Africa is known as the most industrialized country in Africa. Are there lessons to learn from South Africa as it is?
Well, even before we go to South Africa, even though many African countries will say they need to learn from us, even within the ECOWAS today, we are still the one who's supposed to potentially lead in terms of manufacturing. Maybe we should also learn from our previous experience. I've told you in the 70s, 80s, Nigeria used to be a promising industrializing country. In fact, manufacturing value added was far more than China in the 70s, 80s. We're ahead of China. In Ikeja Industrial Estate, Aba Industrial Estate, Port Harcourt, Trans-Amadi Industrial Estate, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Bompai, in Kano. This was a huge industrial powerhouse. I think we should learn from our previous experience. And what was the miracle? Consistent industrial policy. There's complementarity between the monetary fiscal authorities. Exchange rate was very stable, and interest rate was virtually zero, single digit. So manufacturers can borrow money. Then later on, we had development institutions like NIDB, which became back of industry, which also supported industry before. So we have enough from our experience to learn. But I agree with you, we can learn from South Africa more now. Even Rwanda, a small country that came out of a crisis in the 90s, is now manufacturing on a huge scale. I mean, Ethiopia, I forgot Chimeze. Ethiopia has become a huge industrial powerhouse. They produce a series of garment, textile products for big brands in the world. And they have employed hundreds of thousands of workers. I think Nigeria has done it before, we can do it again. And that's the way to go,
Let's hope we're able to do it again. Thank you very much, Mr. Aremu, for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Issa Aremu is the Vice President, Industrial Global Union. Still to come, commodities market update. Do stay with us.